CBS's Mike Wallace. Well, just before we came on air, I spoke to Mark Regev from the Israeli Foreign Ministry in Jerusalem. Does he agree with Benjamin Netanyahu, I asked, that Ahmadinejad is the worst tyrant since Hitler and Israel's greatest enemy?
I think so. I think we're concerned. Here is a man who leads a strong country, a serious country, a country with economic resources, a country with a strong population, and he has a very extreme nihilistic agenda. I mean, he stands up and he says the Holocaust didn't happen. He stands up, he says Israel should be wiped off the map. And the problem is that I think he really believes these things, that his mindset is such that he's dangerous.
Ehud Olmert's already admitted that mistakes have been made in this conflict. The bottom line is you failed to deliver that fatal blow to Hezbollah, you've weakened a democratic government in Lebanon, and you've arguably lost sympathy with the rest of the world. Has this all been counterproductive?
Well, the first thing I'd remind you is that we didn't initiate this conflict. We were responding to a Hezbollah aggression against us. But having said that, I think we've come out of this okay. If you look at what is in the UN Resolution 1701, there are a number of elements that are crucial there and actually provide a better security situation for my country. Hezbollah is forced out of the south. The UN resolution says that from the Litani River south to the international frontier, that'll be a Hezbollah-free zone. For Israel, that's important because up until now you've had that foreign Iranian presence on our northern border, always causing problems, always shooting rockets across the border, always trying to start some sort of escalation. With them pushed back to the Litani River, that's really a plus for my country. Secondly, and not less importantly, the resolution talks about an international arms embargo. That means that Hezbollah will not be able to replenish its long-range strategic supply of rockets. That's very important. I mean, ultimately, we were concerned a ceasefire would just be a timeout for Hezbollah, allow them to rearm and regroup. The UN resolution says no. The UN resolution says any country that delivers weaponry to Hezbollah can be sanctioned and can feel the wrath of the Security Council. And the international monitors on the borders will prevent weaponry reaching Hezbollah.
You say you've come out okay. Would you call it victory, though?
I'd say, I mean, in war, there are too many people killed on the Israeli side and on the Lebanese side. So I wouldn't use the V word. What I would say is I think we've come out of this stronger than when we went in, and that's the main thing.
Well, your original goal was to rescue your soldiers. Any confirmation that they're even still alive?
Yes, they are still alive. And I think the resolution 1701, which, by the way, calls for the unconditional release of those two servicemen, but that resolution provides a platform by which the soldiers can be expeditiously released. And today the Prime Minister has appointed a former deputy head of the security services to head a special team to bring about the early release of those two hostages.
You sound very confident. Have you actually spoken to them?
No, but we have information. They were taken alive, and they are alive from our point of view.
Many are now questioning Ehud Olmert's position. Would Ariel Sharon have done this differently, have done this better?
Oh, that's a very difficult question. I mean, how can you answer that question? Would Churchill have done Suez better? Would Attlee have done D-Day better? It's a very open question, and it's difficult to answer. Today there was a strong debate in my Knesset. In Israel, there's always discussions about how could things have been done better. That's the nature of our democracy. Lessons learned. The Defense Ministry has also asked the military to conduct a thorough inquiry about what went right and what went wrong on that side. And I hope that we see a similar discussion on the Lebanese side too, because I think Lebanese have to ask themselves, why did this conflict occur? Why is it that they allowed Hezbollah to dictate their national agenda? Why is it that they allowed their country and mine to be brought into this cycle, to this violence, to this bloodshed that no one really wanted? And maybe it's time that in Lebanon people stood up and said, we're sick and tired of having this extremist group Hezbollah, supported by outsiders in Tehran and Damascus. We're sick and tired of this group dictating to the Lebanese people what will be the political reality in their country.
Mark Regev, many thanks.
Thank you for having me.